Okay. Dilly-dallying. Alright. Barry versus Yuki-Chan. Okay, excellent. There we go. That's the nice synthy Motoi Sakuraba we know and love. Okay. Okay. So we got unknown crosswind. This is a feature that is actually quite interesting to me. So then we've got our dedicated throw grass to gauge the wind button. Okay, so we've got what appears to be a moderate amount of crosswind. Okay. Zoom in. I wish there was a like zoom in to landing point immediately button like there is in Mario Golf, but that does not appear to be the case. You have to go all the way along manually. Although I guess to be fair, you could do this too for the overhead. And then reset. Okay. Alright. As you can probably tell, I don't use Polystation controllers very often. 415 yards. That's pretty long. Power shot. Okay. I didn't notice this, but from the looks of it, that's not an extra 10% of power that you're getting on that power shot, but you get 12 of them, so that's interesting. So that's a difference right there from Mario Golf N64, is you get 6 power shots that add 10% to your shot, whereas here, I just want to get a nice round number. Okay, 150, that would be perfect. So, okay, so an extra 9 out of 150, so 16, an extra 13, so okay. So from the looks of it, you get an extra 6% power from a power shot in this. But so you get an extra 6% power from a power shot, but you get 12 of them. So that's interesting. But I think for this hole, that makes enough of a difference here to make this potentially easier, because a 216 drive on a 415 hole is pushing it. So welcome, Mimi Max. Yeah, things are good. Good Friday, you know. Nice weather. Cold right now, but it'll be warmer this weekend. But yeah, I'm hitting up one of my biggest requests, and supposedly the older brother of Mario Golf. This is Hot Shots Golf for the PlayStation. And I'm just going to be, you know, playing through about as much as I can in a span of 3 to 4 hours, and then and then have like a follow-up. This will be like a multi-parter probably, because there's bound to be more than 3 hours of content. So right now I'm starting things off with a match game against Yuki-Chan, because this game obviously takes things in a slightly cartoonish direction. You know, this is 1997, so for the most part, golf games of the time were more realistic in nature. But you've got these cuter characters. But well, Yuki's got a nice green and red already. So yeah, I gotta focus here. Okay. Now I'm judging this shot as I would for Mario Golf here. Okay, we got a fairway lie that is a little bit dirty. So I'm gonna maybe do like a soft 3-wood. That's what I'll do. Yeah, but there are some differences. Like for instance, this is actually a tech that's in Mario Golf, but the game never tells you. But like when you press the button that you would do to like adjust impact point, or here it's just its own dedicated button, is that when you toss up you can toss up grass to gauge the wind, and in this game the wind speed is hidden from you on your tee shot. So So it might be to your benefit, especially on a par 3, to try to get a gauge for the wind first. So you can either use the grass or you can use how fast the flag moves. That's another indicator. So it's the same thing. It's a similar deal to, like, say, the indicators that you get in Mario Golf for N64, except that's a detail that I never noticed that was also in Mario Golf, but is never actually explicitly told to the player, whereas unlike here, you are actually explained this in the in-game lessons. So that's a plus for this game, is this game actually bothers to tell you how to play it.
Nice shot.
So yeah, you get the nice shot when you hit frame perfect, so that's cute.
Nice on.
Alright. Alright, now for the putting. So this doesn't tell me much, so it's telling me it's slightly downhill. Yeah, sure. Okay, and then we got our little grid thingy. Pressing the R1 shows like a slope thingy. So if you missed the footage of the lessons that I went through, so the way that this works is lines that are blue are lower in elevation, lines that are red are higher in elevation, and the longer the lines are, then the more the change in elevation is. So what my mind's eye is telling me is that there's actually a very subtle break from right to left, because the lines are slightly longer to the right of me than to the left of me. And also, as you can see right by my character's feet, to the left there's tiny blue lines, whereas to the right there's tiny red ones. So I'm just gonna give this a nudge. Okay. But yeah, it's tiny, so didn't want to overdo that or nothing. I wanted to acknowledge it, but not overdo it. So that's a good birdie. Oh, Yuki-Chan, she's using the 100-foot putter. She's a brave one. All right. She's the first opponent, and we split the first hole with a birdie. Okay. So either she is basically Luigi, or this game has a steeper learning curve. Okay. R5. Now, I probably can't get on this green in 2, so it might behoove me not to waste power shots. Because like Mario Golf N64, you have to be frame perfect to keep your power shots. Although I could just say Mario Golf, because same thing applies to the Game Boy Color game. Same thing applies. So biggest differences so far that I'm noticing are you have fewer choices for impact point. The wind is hidden from you off the tee. The green grid is different. And power shots. Here you get 12 power shots that add 6% power, whereas in Mario Golf you have 6 power shots that give you 10% extra power. So, subtle to be sure. But yeah, otherwise similar sort of stuff here. Oh yeah, the meter. So the meter in this game, it's divided into quarters, and actually if you look very carefully you can kind of see that it's notched, but if this was a lower quality video connection, it would be hard to tell that this meter is in fact very subtly notched. But it's got like a 50 indicator, and it's got like a max or whatever, so stuff, details. That's what I do.
Nice shot.
I think it's kind of cute that the character kind of like lets out musical notes or hums or whatever to like indicate that you hit a perfect shot. So that's cute. What are you doing? You are hitting a big draw, lady. You know, she's not too far away, so it probably doesn't matter at that point. Okay, so there is the indication of the slightly sloped shot due to the lie, so that's a thing. That's a thing that is
Nice on.
similarly indicated to you in this game and Mario Golf. Although you can see with the lie indicator, there's an arrow above the ball that curves depending on the gradient to your lie. So that's neat, and that is a feature that looks to be returning to Mario Golf Super Rush. I'm just gonna float this sucker over. There we go. Nice cute sandwich. My character is not very strong, so it's probably in my better interest to try to hit high shots so that the ball doesn't, like, you know, roll a bunch. All right. So it doesn't tell you miss and lose. It says putt for a draw. That's different too. Okay. An indication.
Nice in.
Excellent. All right, so Yuki-Chan is playing well right now. Yeah, I mean, if this is how the first character match in this game plays out, then I have my work cut out for me already. Alright, par 3. Let's see. Crosswind. Interesting. Okay, so that's definitely at least a moderate crosswind. Although it looks as though the grass hovers for a while before drifting over, so maybe it's not that strong. Maybe I can play like somewhere over here. I'm gonna play a soft 4-wood. You stop.
Nice on.
I just noticed that now, but apparently when the camera turns and pans back around, it shows your character running toward the ball. That's funny. That's pretty funny. Well, that's a heck of a bump and run. Hello, sir. Yeah, this is on the Poly Station 1. Yeah, this is on the Poly Station 1. And this is a console feed. Mind you, good sir. I made sure I wanted this to look as good as possible. So, I'm playing this through a PS2 Slim, which is backwards compatible, thank God. Because apparently the PlayStation 3 is like early models of it were, but they were unreliable and are actually kind of hard to get now. That, and they're not like universally compatible, so it's like, screw it, just get a PS2. But I've had a PS2 for a while. That's how I play Disney Golf, so stuff. And I actually have a decent collection that I've acquired through secondhand stores over the years. All right. So I'm a decent ways away, so I want to get a read on this. So yeah, blue is uphill. That's kind of strange, because in Mario Golf, it's the other way around. Red is uphill and blue is downhill. But nonetheless, and also from the indications of the lines, it's looking like we're sloping a bit to the right. So I'm going to nudge over here and give this a good whack. All right.
Nice in.
All right, excellent. So yeah, so basically in a nutshell, the rig I got here is a PS2 Slim that has HD Retrovision cables going to a component video switcher that is going to a retro tink that is doubling the resolution from 480i to 480p, and that is going to an and that is going through an M Classic, which is actually putting this up to 1440p. So yeah, about as good as I can make it without emulation. Although a little bit of de-interlacing and sharpening in OBS helps a little too. So yeah. All right, got hole 4. We got a little bit of a dog leg. We got persnickety wind. Yeah, we'll do a power shot here.
Nice shot.
Doo-doo! I don't know if it's just me, or if it's something that I'm missing, but it's like, I'm not like getting the vibe of like, you know, emotions of the characters like you do with like the Mario Golf games. Like the characters are just they kind of exist. They don't like dance around, they don't shout, they don't have like voice clips and stuff, but maybe that'll change here. Adam Koralik. I'm not familiar with that name. I mean, maybe if you tell me, I'll be like, oh yeah, but yeah. Doesn't occur to me. So. Well, yeah, Camelot developed this game, actually, so I get comments all the time on my Mario Golf social media that people say that Mario Golf ripped off of Hot Shots. To which, you know, I say, well, it's not a ripoff. If it's the same devs. So yeah. And in fact, apparently this is the first and only game of the series that Camelot developed before development turned over to a company called Handsclap. Ah, okay. Yeah, that's a name I've not heard of, so that's cool. Yeah, I'll have to keep that in mind. Adam Koralik. Okay, so I'm not gonna lose that because I'm familiar with guys like Voltar, for instance. He's awesome. Yeah, Voltar is awesome. And I've had modding services done through Retrofixes. They're good too. All right, so I'm gonna give this 4-iron a solid whack here. Excellent. Apparently there do exist digital HDMI PS1 hard mods now, like the so-called PS1 digital mods that enable upwards of 1080p output from the original PlayStation. So, I mean, do I really want to buy a separate PlayStation 1? I don't know. This looks good. Yeah, 110k subs is not that small for retro communities. I mean, that's not Metal Jesus Rock standards, but you know. Yeah, this yeah, so this is also kind of like the first and only game where the character models kind of have like this more of like an anime look with larger heads and eyes. You know, the whole like, you know, cuteness sort of thing. Whereas later games seem to go for like a more realistic characters. Although it's still like, you know, cartoony per se, but more realistic, so. Okay. Alright. Let's see. Do I want a power shot? Although, granted, I might not have to play all 18 holes, so I could actually maybe afford to be more liberal with power shots. That's often something to think about, like in any of these arcade-style golf games. Is with match games, you might be playing as few as 10 holes. You might not have to play all 18, but maybe if your match goes long enough and you're dragged into sudden death, you may have to play more than 18. So, you do have to consider carefully how you want to use your power shots. If you're winning by a fair bit, then yeah, maybe you can afford to be more liberal with them. Especially if you're skilled enough to keep them consistently anyway. So why not? It's so similar to Mario Golf. It looks as though being in outside a fairway kind of cripples you. All right, this is a par 4. Wow, these are a couple long par 4s. But then again, I am playing from the middle tees. Oh, that's yet another difference. Is that when I was selecting the settings for the match, I noticed that there are 3 sets of tees. Three. Mario Golf has not gotten to 3 sets of tees until World Tour. World Tour came out in 2014. So, and this game came out in '97. So yeah, this series is ahead of the curve. Is ahead of the game in that regard. More options, you know. I like the idea of multiple tee boxes, you know, because it's a great way to accommodate for different skill levels. And it's a great way to, you know, change difficulties, is just, you know, use different tee boxes. Just like on a real course. Whereas Mario Golf N64 and Game Boy Color only have 1. Coastal Tour uses 2. That's funny, you know, when the camera turns around and shows the character running towards their ball. Kind of. That's cool. That's cool. I don't know if you just noticed that in that last second, but you notice as the ball is rolling along the green, since it's raining out, the ball is kind of like skidding and it's like kicking up like little rain particles. Like, okay, when I do my putt, take a look at the ball. That is a cute little detail. All right, so yeah, I gotta tell myself blue is uphill, so gotta nudge a little left, and I'm gonna assume that rain requires me to hit a little harder, so I'm gonna do an extra 50% odd. The sound of the ball going in the cup seems a little tinny compared to Mario Golf, but, you know, it's a ball falling in a hole. Alright. So yeah, Mary played a hell of a game on the first 2 holes. She tied me twice getting birdies, but... yeah, yeah, that's 3 wins now. Yeah, 3 tee boxes. Holy crap. Okay. Yeah, I'm playing as Mary. I am matching up against Yuki-Chan, as all the Hot Shots guys would say. I've done a little bit of research, and apparently Hot Shots players seem to like Yuki, so yeah, that's what I'm doing first. And plus, I think the extra power might come in handy later for more adequately securing long par 4s without power shots and potentially getting delicious Ugers on par 5s. Because, I mean, okay, with a base power level of 216 yards, you're not Ugering anything. But if you're hitting something like 270 off the tee, now we're talking. Also, why does your character stop like 20 yards short of the ball? I have so many questions. I have many questions. Alright. Little nudge of the wind. I wonder what those 2 notes are. If they are, whoa! Hey, Lamau. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to say, is that you get points in this game, so that's yet another similarity. That's another feature that would return in Mario Golf N64, is the concept of course points, and that you would get points for your gameplay in whatever mode you play, and whether it's tournaments or matches or whatever. And when you play good golf, then you get more experience on top of whatever your bonus would be for winning a match or winning a tournament. So, and then those points are used to unlock the other courses. So, I guess that originated with this title too. is the concept of the course point or the experience point.
Nice in.
So yeah, basically Mary is kind of playing sort of like Luigi, maybe slightly more competently, but you know. All right, R3, the pin high, maybe slightly less, hard to tell. Oh, let's get another. Okay, that doesn't really help me much. All right. Nice delicious throw some grass up in the air button, which this should be a thing in every golf game. This should be a thing in every Mario golf game, any golf game. And yesterday I found out, literally yesterday, more than 20 years after the game came out, that this is what the whole point of that throwing that grass up thing was. And that this is a mechanic that actually is in Mario Golf as well, but the game never tells you, or you never have a clue. And that's a thing that happens whenever you're manually adjusting the impact of your ball before making the shot. Is that when you do so, grass pops up, and it didn't occur to me. But when I went into training mode and I toggled different winds and I saw that the grass flew in different directions, I'm like, holy shit! This is a wind indicator. This is actual tech. So, stuff.
Nice shot.
But yeah, this game actually tells you. Also, that headwind really didn't do anything. Maybe it wasn't that strong of a headwind to begin. Maybe it's not that strong of a headwind. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Maybe it's the fact that I was going downhill. But of course, I know full well that you have to allow for the fact that your ball does not carry the full distance to the hole. So it's never a bad idea. It's never a bad idea to be conservative, sort of. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that this would look good, because it's interesting the way that the N64 and the PlayStation they did things differently as far as graphics go. Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So the PlayStation, the positives there are the polygons are a lot sharper, and usually textures are a little cleaner. Because the N64 has a filter per se that anti-aliases things pretty significantly. Although you can mitigate this by increasing the sharpness in your television, and/or like through whatever program that you feed the video through, whether it's like OBS or whatever. There's a setting to adjust like the sharpness of the image. Whereas here, normally for Mario Golf or other N64 games, I have to add a sharpness filter of about 40 or 50%. Whereas here, I'm only doing like 10 or 20%. But yeah, that and by nature, PlayStation games and N64 games are interlaced, but you don't see that here because I am using a line doubler. I'm using a retro tank. So that fixes that problem with every frame, as you know, there's those alternating frames, you know, the way that the interlacing systems goes. So it's still 60 hertz, but it's half the image. So you get this, and then a 60th of a second later, you get this. And then a 60th of a second later, you get this again, and then you get this again, or whatever. But what the line doubler does is that it just fills in the gaps, using the neighboring lines. That and the fact that I'm running this on a PlayStation 2, which allows me to use component cables through HD Retrovision. So they are far and away the best, as far as I know, of anyone that makes cables for retro consoles. I just realized I wasn't using an approach, but that's okay because I changed the shot to keep it under control. I forgot that you can use the power button to toggle to approaches. Yeah. I hear rumored that there is an upgraded model being worked on. So like it's not just able to double lines, it's also able to upscale. So that would be great because then I could get rid of my M classics. I could swap those out. Because right now, on top of the RetroTink, which doubles the signal here from 480i to 480p, I put it through an M Classic that upscales that from 480p to 1440p, so that then it looks decent on monitors that I've got here. I don't play on a television anymore. I just hook everything straight up to a monitor. That solves the latency problem now, don't it? So it's like, you know, you get the lesser latency of a CRT, but you also get the higher fidelity of a more modern display. I don't know, stuff and stuff. QHD for the win. So stuff and stuff.
Nice shot.
So I'm not sure if the newer RetroTink that is being worked on, that is being prototyped, is capable of upscaling to Quad HD, but that would be pretty bants if it is. That would be bants. And yeah, once again, I cannot sing heavily enough the praises of HD Retrovision cables. You know, they're created by video engineers out in the suburbs of Chicago, and you know, you look on their webpage and you can totally tell that they know what they're talking about. And you know, results speak for themselves when I've used them on everything from Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, Sega Saturn, PlayStation here. Heck, even Wii console I even got Retrovisions on.
Nice shot.
So
Nice on.
they make them too for PlayStation 3 and for Wii U, just in case, like, say for instance you got a television set that doesn't support HDMI out, or I know for the PlayStation 3 there's some weird kind of, like, I don't know if it's DRM or something in the hardware that makes it so that you cannot output the signal via its HDMI port. You can only output the signal through its composite port. So, which not composite, component port. But of course, people have found ways to get around this using splitters and other shit. But I hate splitters. I hate cable splitters with a passion. So what you're asking me is the shot completely deterministic? But, you know, within like the game structure, to which I would surmise yes. I would surmise yes. Though it is possible to make the game quote unquote freeze or pause for quite a long time. I have a video. Like, you open up on a different tab. Open up. It's on my YouTube channel. Open up, I don't even number, I can't remember what it is, 37, 39, whatever, but Neil is a wizard. And I use some kind of glitch to shoot the ball in such a way that it ends up warping up to the vertical boundary limit of the level. And it takes the game a minimum of 20 seconds to quote-unquote think. And then the shot goes through, and then weird shit happens, and then you're 500 yards up in the air. Ah, okay. Yes. Yes, thank you. Leave it up to the fans to figure that stuff out for me, because to be honest, I don't remember those things. Oh yeah, that's a different example. So there was a Twitch streamer that accidentally there was a Twitch streamer that accidentally did the same thing, except he didn't use lava, he used a mushroom. Like, his shot somehow went into a very specific pixel of a mushroom, and then it did the same thing. It's a rock glide that is up in the air, where, of course, it shouldn't be physically possible to shoot from, but there you are. So I have no idea how that works. If I'm going to be brutally honest. Okay, I'm glad I didn't use a power shot here, because from the looks of it, there's a water here, and I definitely can't carry this. That, and as you can see, we got this big hill thingy, this big trough. So this is one of the few times where I actually need to lag up or lay up. I never remember which it is, whether it's like a lag up shot or a layup shot. Oh wait, well in basketball it'd be a layup shot. Okay. Good questions. Yeah, good questions. I mean, it's possible that Blue Candy and Spy Fox would know, like, more about the technical details of the game, because they've worked with the game and they've done, like, corruptions and tool assisted runs and that sort of stuff, and that sort of stuff with it. So yeah, that would be an interesting topic in the tech thread of the Discord. That would be a good place for that sort of thing.
Nice shot.
The only thing one of the few things that's not deterministic about Toadstool Tour is that there's a distance variation variable that is indicated on the lower right part. You know, like when you make your shot and you notice like plus 1%, -1%, plus 20% or whatever. Those are frame dependent. So you would have to factor that into your simulation. You know, it would come down to timing or intentionally waiting X amount of frames, but it should be possible. It should be possible, yeah, because although granted, as far as task goes, I think a lot of it has just been trial and error. We haven't done anything like rigorously trying to like reverse engineer mathematics or like Luas or anything like that. It's like that's something that I sometimes see come up in the literature of tool assisted runs, is the so-called Lua script that kind of gives you a data feed of sorts in real time as you're going. So that would be great information to have. I don't know what I would ever use it for, but I stick to the consoles, but yeah, it's looking like I'm winning this hole, so I guess it wasn't a big deal that I missed this putt. I forgot that. Oh, that's a cute little animation thingy. Like as the ball rolls by the hole, or it kind of forks in, it kind of skids, and you got that ooh sort of thing. That's cool. That is cool. I don't know, good sir. Huh, now after 9 holes, I get the option to save. Huh. Yeah, because I was trying to quit around before when I realized that I didn't have background music on, and none of the buttons allow you to exit around in mid-game. So I guess as it happens, from the looks of it, you're only allowed to save every 9 holes. So that's kind of crummy, but you know. You know, this came out earlier, so one can expect it to have a few quote-unquote rough points. Har.
Nice shot.
Alrighty. It's just occurred to me that the computer is also using some power shots every now and then, but it's not as obviously indicated as it is in Mario Golf. like the two ways that you can tell is that the distance changes and that there's like a little number icon above the sweet spot indicator for like the number of power shots, not above it, I guess to the right of the meter, where whatever, but the meter doesn't change color like it does in Mario Golf, so it's not quite as obvious that way. But yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting that the CPU is that the comp player is using power shots this early, whereas in Mario Golf you don't start to see that until the third match, which in that game is Sunny. So let's see, we got a little bit of right-left on the lie, but we got quite a bit of left crosswinds, so I'm gonna do a thing like this.
Nice shot.
Ah! Oof. You know it gets close when the camera starts to zoom into the cup itself. Okay. It's weird. It feels like the ball goes further than you think it should. Alright, Yuki. I want to win you, darn it. Make this quick, my dear. Maybe after this, I will take Yuki-Chan on a tournament so that I can unlock another course. Assuming I don't have enough, I don't get enough points already. Alright, so yeah, there's definitely some more substantial slope at play here. Wow, okay, that is definitely substantial in comparison to what I've previously seen, but from the looks of it, I'm still winning. Yeah, because Yuki's on her 6th stroke there, so you can see her ball marker's still on there, so yep. Okay. Jolly good. So what am I at? 10 through 6 up. 1. Okay, so 1.5 wins left. So that, yeah, 1.5 left. Okay. Jolly jolly. Okay. I think I'll use a power shot here just so that I get past this tree line, because from the looks of it, yeah, we're doglegging, so it would probably behoove me to get past this tree, the line of sight of the trees. In a way, it's almost kind of feels like, say, Cheep Cheep Falls Hole 5, that way. Where if you don't drive far enough, then you could kind of get screwed over by the tree line. So from there, I should have a modestly clear shot, and if I'm desperate, I could play a draw. I could aim right and play a draw. So yeah, Yuki's also hitting the long ball. Probably same reason. Yeah, there's probably always going to be a little bit of trial and error involved in the process, because golf by nature is kind of it's kind of a luck-based game. You know, with the way that things bounce, and like there's a little bit of chaos. You know, the ball lands a foot this way, and it could go in a completely different way. You know, stuff, but for the most part, you probably ought to be able to figure out some sort of deterministic methods.
Nice shot.
And of course, you know, for someone in studying in the field of meteorology, you ought to be inherently familiar with chaos theory. That's kind of how meteorology. That's kind of where, you know, chaos theory came from in the first place. Was from a meteorologist in the 1950s that got totally different weather projections because of, you know, of rounding that happened at like the 12th decimal points or whatever at various points in his calculations in the computer simulations. So yeah, chaos. Although that said, it is my understanding that chaos can still be deterministic. I don't know, it's fascinating though. I wish I would have taken more pure maths in school. Maybe I could have putted this, but you know, we try the approach. And plus, I don't know how much rough affects putts here. I know with Mario Golf, it's about 16 or 20 to 1 as far as roll resistance goes, whereas fairway is like 2 to 1. So at least there's animations, and one thing I noticed is that whenever the character gets a birdie or par or better, then there's kind of like an aura of light around them. Whereas if they get bogey or worse, then there's like darkness that surrounds them. Those details. Details. All right, so 7 up after 11 means we got a dormy. Yes. And this is the kind that's got lithium in it. You know, that's funny you mentioned that, because I've discovered that it can be spelled both ways. So the Mario Golf games spell it D-O-R-M-I-E, whereas this game and Disney Golf are two games that I've seen that spell it D-O-R-M-Y. So maybe it can be done both ways. Yeah, wouldn't that be funny? It is my understanding that birdie comes from someone who long ago remarked that an extremely nice shot, you know, that his partner made was quote unquote a bird of a shot, and thus was birdie. I don't know. British people are weird. And apparently bogey comes from an idiom where someone played poorly and then someone said, even Colonel Bogey could have played better than that. So yeah, that's where bogey came from. Okay. So... wait, blue means uphill. Blue means uphill. So this goes subtly from left to right. Maybe not that much. And it's definitely going downhill because the red lines are getting bigger. Yeah, it did break more than that. Okay. Well, this is dormy, so that's fine. Unless Yuki sinks this. Then she wins the hole. And then we just play another. Yeah, so, a little clumsy aside from those 2 birdies on the first 2 holes. Also, they're continuing to use the 100-foot putter for everything. That's pretty gutsy. Alright, excellent. Alright. That's a pretty good result. That's a pretty good result. Winning 7 up, 6 to play. Okay, 19 points. Excellent. You can now use a new character. Yuki-Chan. Yuki-Chan. Oh god. I can't read. Yuki-Chan. Alright, 37 on memory card. And then, just like an arcade game, when you finish a round, quote unquote, the game is over.